yeah, he's basically asking, we're all just talking to each other on LinkedIn. How do we get to that end user, or, not,
I think
past our walls.
Mixing up the platforms for sure. LinkedIn, and a lot of the manufacturers are investing heavily in LinkedIn as an advertising source, obviously for B2B. That's where a lot of the decision makers are with companies, is on LinkedIn, whether it's CEOs, founders, head of whatever department, director of IT. Most of them are probably on LinkedIn if it's a company you're trying to do business with. For commercial, that's fantastic. For the the next generation, and for more end users in the residential space, you absolutely have to be on at least Instagram. I would say, if I had to pick one other one aside from LinkedIn, it would be Instagram before anything else. And the reach is next level, and it takes time to figure it out. It takes time to figure out your voice on there. It takes time to figure out your story. More importantly than that, your target audience. And that's something that a lot of people don't really figure out. I mean, for example, my personal page, I've got a big following of football fans. I'm very engaged in a lot of the football pages. I posted an Eagles, and I'm not an Eagles fan per se. Bills fan. Eagles are my backup team after ousting the Chiefs here. Sorry, Bear. But I posted like an Eagles meme that had over 2 million views over the course of a couple of weeks. And, reached 1.5 million accounts. You'll never have that kind of reach on LinkedIn. Realistically, you won't. I mean, a lot of followers on LinkedIn is 20,000 followers. A lot of followers on Instagram is in the millions. And right. I would say that's how you reach people, and also making your content people focused. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And sometimes it comes off as cringy, but especially if if it seems like you're forcing it. And there's a lot of companies inside and outside of security that do this really well, shooting content around with their team, shooting content with their actual end users. And I think that's the stuff that resonates the most with end users, is when they see other people using your product, see you talking to your clients, physically, in the field working with your clients. Even I would always recommend making it authentic. You could of course stage this. If you had more time and resources, you could stage something like this and shoot a high quality production. But I think the gritty, realistic things are what typically works the best. And you see that in a lot of industries.